Welcome, everybody, to Movies, Comics, Umpire, the MCU podcast with Chris Rollo Tilarios and Bragdon the Frogger.
Bragdon, indeed.
Bragdon the Frogger. I'm reading a lot of Game of Thrones, so I'm kind of like just going to Game of Thrones your name up a little bit.
Okay. At least I don't have to say my name all the time.
I think you would be a member of the Greyjoys.
I think I can live with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know enough Game of Thrones to be insulted by that, right?
I watched the first 2 seasons.
You should have seen the Greyjoys are pretty shitty.
Yeah, I said it could be worse.
Yeah, I could make you, who's that? Who's that one house that's just like the Boltons, where it just has that bastard who just tortures people?
Or that one with the crazy lady who just has,
Oh, her kid just fucking sucks on her tit all day and he's like 12?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have done that.
Yeah, see, it's like, there's worse.
There's worse out there.
There is worse, but, yeah.
You're the house that finger banged your own sister, though.
True, but then again, I'd have tons of fucking money.
Did they?
I can't remember. I think that's getting this stuff that I don't remember anymore.
I don't think the Greyjoys were pretty wealthy in anything but being douchey. Anyway, though.
And fish.
But, anyway, it's been a while.
It's been a week. In the past week, not a ton of things happened, but the things that did happen were kind of neat.
Yes. I was gone on vacation, and unlike last time where we were gone for a week, all of the news didn't happen.
Yeah, pretty much it's because Marvel right now is in quiet mode because they're preparing for Comic-Con. They've also got a movie coming out in less than a month.
I can't wait for it.
Oh my god. And so they're playing, everything very close to their chest so that they don't have crazy things happening. Some things did slip through the cracks. Not really from Marvel. There's a lot of things I have, and I actually have, and I'm not even joking, I actually prepared a bit of, notes for this. I'm not even joking. I have notes.
Okay. Very good. You're the note guy this time.
I have notes. I mean, usually you just say news, and I say, that's very interesting. Because I catch about half the stuff usually. I'm not usually so in deep because every time that does happen, I catch spoilers. Because that's how the fucking end credit scene with Thanos was spoiled to me for Avengers. Was I caught some news and it was spoiled to me hours before I saw the movie.
Didn't you catch the spoiler ending for Captain America?
Same way.
That way. Yeah.
So I'm usually very cautious on Marvel news because it just happens.
Yeah.
But usually what I do catch, I filter it so that I'm very careful about it. I usually try just to read the news from Marvel itself. But yeah, so we have a few things that popped up. But before we do, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if we want to make this into like a self-help podcast.
No
so
problem.
I'll just tell you I'm doing good, and I'll cry afterwards.
I still have to give you a mighty go fuck yourself after being the reason I had to see the 4th Transformers movie.
How was that? I couldn't get the internet working to catch your whole episode. So did you enjoy it?
No, it was really bad.
How bad was it? Did they ruin Grimlock?
Well, he's not even called Grimlock in the movie.
What do they call him? Dinosaur thing?
They just say you pretty much, and he doesn't even speak.
Well, there you go.
None of the other Dinobots speak.
At least you didn't have to get like.
I did call that.
Where it's like he's just like, hey there, Optimus, let's go fight the Decepticons.
My favorite awful joke that a friend of mine made is that if they wanted to really Michael Bay up Grimlock, he would have been a short bus. But they didn't.
Yeah, that'd have been pretty bad.
Well, the worst thing was Ken Watanabe as Drift doing a very, very thick, very Japan accent and calling Optimus Sensei throughout the movie.
Wait, what character does he play?
Drift. He's an Autobot.
Okay.
Optimus Sensei. I'm like,
he's just like, Optimus Prime Sensei.
Pretty much, but it's
the Decepticons.
But it's Ken Watanabe doing it. So he goes from Godzilla to this.
To be fair, I barely remember he's in Godzilla. If he weren't the only Asian in Godzilla, I probably wouldn't remember he was.
He was also the only Asian in Inception.
He's the only Asian in a lot of things. He's like our Asian actor.
To be fair, if you're going to have one Asian, Ken Watanabe is not a bad choice.
Or
He's pretty great whenever he's in,
or
except for Transformers: Age of Extinction.
or who's that hot chick from Dragon Ball Evolution?
I blacked that movie out.
I remember very few things from that. I remember there was a hot Asian girl in that
And
movie.
Chow Yun Fat just hamming it up as hard as he could.
Oh yeah, he was just like, God, I'm making so much money from this bullshit.
But we'll talk about Transformers another time and how I wanted to gouge out people's eyes that were clapping during the movie. Um, I want to go in that right now, just quick. I've never had a worse movie going experience than seeing that movie. It was
Really?
up there. Oh, the theater was awful. There was a lady in front of me that whenever like things happened, so like a character was introduced or something happened, she'd go like, "Yay!" And I'm like, "Oh my god, I want to kill you!"
Like she's that excited about it.
Yes, she was that. She did the little
Like
claps and
she's just like,
everything.
it's tripped.
Where I was like, "Oh my god, it's Bumblebee!"
You-
Doing like the claps close to her chest and everything. The fangirl clapping kind of a thing. And then a kid to my right constantly asking questions to his dad throughout the entire movie. I was, if I didn't have to see the movie, I would have walked out. Not because of the movie, because of the people. It was that bad.
That sounds fun.
No, it just made the movie even harder. And then people stood up and applauded at the end of the movie, and I just walked out. I'm like, I'm done.
This is a total tangent thing, but I don't know. It's come to my head. But when I went to go see, what was it, Pompeii?
Mm-hmm.
It got to the ending, and I guess I'm technically spoiling Pompeii.
Oh no, who would have guessed what happened in
Who those of you who haven't seen the historical or heard of the historical event,
Spoiler alert, Titanic sinks.
they all get covered in fucking ash and die. But like the movie hasn't ended yet, so it's just like I don't know. It's this fucking long bullshit dramatic effect of like them covered in ash and the camera spinning around them slowly. And I'm just like, this movie sucked. I'm not waiting for this bullshit to end just so the credits appear. So I got up and started leaving, and I saw people like staring at me like they were just like, the movie's not done yet. I was like, no, they're covered in ash. I think it's done. Like
And they
unless
kind of shake the ash off and they're fine.
yeah, like unless Mr. Echo like tiptoes up with like a hammer and a little chisel and just knocks them out of it, they're fine. I don't think there's a
That's
fucking sequel hook here.
that's the director's cut actually.
Yeah.
But enough of these other awful movies. We have good movies to talk about and some awesome news about those movies to discuss.
Yeah, yes, we absolutely do.
So just over this, I believe it was either the 4th of July. It was either 4th, 5th, or 6th. James Gunn took to Twitter and answered a fuck ton of questions over Twitter.
Oh yes, he has.
He did, and from things ranging from silly things about the movie and his experiences making it to actually some things that we did not know. And a few other really interesting things. Like, one, he has finished the movie. He finished it, I believe, Sunday?
Yes, he says it's officially wrapped now. He's done with his involvement with it. Essentially, it's just promotion from here on out.
He's doing promotion at this point, which was very interesting. But few really interesting bits of information that came out of there. One, I don't think, the first one I have listed on here, which was one of my favorites, was he oversaw every single shot's conversion to 3D.
He did, and I like that. It bodes well for the 3D transition of this movie because we've been talking about, previous Marvel movies, not before this podcast per se, but just movies in general where the 3D is just such an afterthought. It's just like, oh, his hammer kind of went towards the screen in that shot, so 3D it up. But if this is a diligent look at converting a movie into 3D, I might actually pony up the extra cash to go see this on 3D opening night, which I hate doing because I wear glasses.
See, I don't have a choice. I see all of them in IMAX. So I have zero choice in the matter. It's like I want the sound mix of an IMAX mix. That's what I want. So if I'm seeing that, I'm seeing them in 3D. And that's usually how it goes. I mean, all the Marvel movies since Avengers have all had good conversions.
Mm-hmm.
The Avengers most notably from the New York scene on. Once they get into the city.
Oh yeah, once the battles take place.
Even the helicarrier wasn't fantastic, but from then on, it was really good. Iron Man 3, I remember being a pretty damn good 3D, all that stuff. The best part of every Marvel movie in 3D are the end credits. Those experience, like for instance, in the Avengers, when they're painting over all the weaponry, like the individual costumes and the weaponry, that was amazing in 3D. probably the best part of seeing that movie. And like, how the whole like 60s, 70s pop feel of the ending of Iron Man 3,
Yeah,
that was awesome in 3D. So like see, the funny part is I will spend the money just for those scenes alone.
that is weird. You're like, I'm gonna spend money knowing full well the most I'm gonna get out of this is during the credits.
And the best part is that's the end of the movie. So it's a great note to end it on.
It is. That is a good note to end it on. I'm excited for it. I probably actually will check out the movie in 3D. I just sent you an image. We were just talking about how he's just finished wrapping up his involvement in the movie. Now, shooting for the movie's been done for a while, but this is a movie that's obviously going to be full of so many effects that so much has been had to lay it on. And even from what we've seen of the movie thus far, based off of trailers, you can see a lot of changes have come in, especially when it comes to effects. An image is floating around of a shot that came out when the official trailer premiered back in February. And it's Peter Quill. He's doing that jump. He's got the mask on. And it's showing what that shot looked like in the first trailer back in February to now what it looks like with the most recent spot that came out and how much effects have gone into it. And I forgot, the first time you see it, it almost looked a little bit cheap. Like at the time, because there weren't all the effects there, the dust, the glow, the buffering out, making sure your focal points on the right things. None of that was really there, and you see what it looks like now. You're like, wow, this movie. Anything I was worried about early on is most likely going to be completely addressed by the time the movie comes around. I really think there's going to be a lot of polish to this that I'm really going to dig.
Yeah, they spent a lot of time polishing this film, especially from James talking about it on Twitter. They did spend a lot of time polishing this film, which is a good thing. And it's really, really rad. So the next thing that was brought up, which is a thing for some of us film geeks out there, he said that he shot it with the red camera, which is kind of awesome. I love the red one camera. It's a very, very good camera.
Mm-hmm.
Which, for those of you that understand that is one of the premier digital cameras that is shot movies with. The first movie that was shot with it was Gamer, if memory serves correctly. And actually, the funny thing about that movie is there's some really fun stories that the directors talk about, where their experiences filming that movie shaped the camera into what it is today. Like how one of their big stories that they talk about was the opening shot of the movie. Did you ever see the movie Gamer?
No, that's the one where it's like
Gerard Butler in a video game.
Yeah, it's like people are controlling him or something.
Yes.
Okay.
It's kind of a dumb movie, but it's shot by the guys who did the Crank series, so it's a visually awesome movie.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a shot at the very beginning of the movie where they're following a guy and he goes through an explosion. They said when they were filming that, the camera kept turning off. They're like, what the hell's going on? And because they thought that the explosion was too intense and the camera was too sensitive, so it was turning it off. So they tinkered with it, and they found out there was a power button on the side of the camera, and the explosion was pushing it into the cameraman's head, turning off the camera.
That's horrifying.
So they actually like gaffer taped the button so it didn't work anymore. So like they said, like, and then 2 days once they told the guys at Red gave them like a patch so they could turn off the button.
That is terrifying. I think I'd cry if that was like a camera was jamming itself into my eye from the force of an explosion.
Well, the side of the head, like the temple.
Oh, okay, that's not as bad. I thought it was like right. I don't know why I thought this was all like fucking 1970. Like I'm cranking it while I'm fucking eye into it.
Yeah, but these are also the crazy directors that there's a shot in that movie where they're showing Gerard Butler driving a car, and they show it in the behind the scenes where the directors are actually the cameramen because they don't want to put the cameraman at risk, and he's going backwards on roller skates holding the camera.
That's ballsy.
Well, he's like holding on to the rear, like the
That's
side
gotta be
mirror.
expensive as fuck camera too when you're on roller skates.
Holding on to the side mirror, filming the people doing. That's why I love those directors. They're fucking insane.
I guess so. Good lord.
They're awesome. But so he shot with the Red One, which is the full name of the camera, it's a great camera. I wish I had had time to tinker with it, but I know some people who have and they love it. Next up, that was a major bit of news, is we got the runtime for the film.
Yes, just a shy above 2 hours.
Which is good. I was hoping this would be a 2-hour movie. Doesn't need to be much above 2 hours, but I was hoping for 2.
I was hoping for at least 2 because there's a lot they got to get in on this movie, in terms of forming the group and then, developing relationships and then plot. They got to get that in there. So there's a lot to get in there. And 2 hours, just a little bit above that, seems like a good running time. How long? I think Winter Soldier was a little bit longer than this.
I think Winter Soldier is the longest of the movies, actually.
Yeah, so it's not going to be the longest we're getting, but it should be a good length for everything we're trying to get in this.
which is good. We
Yes.
want to give this movie some time to breathe. I
Hmm.
think the shortest film might be The Incredible Hulk. I think
Yeah, that one's not too long.
that's
Could have done with some more breathing room in that one.
yeah, it did. So next up was he confirmed that Stan Lee will have a cameo in the film.
We've known this for a little bit, I think, but we don't know exactly what he's going to be doing. I know there was some controversy in this, not necessarily people being like "fuck Stan Lee," although those people do exist because we know one of them, but it more in that he was like, I didn't really do anything to create the Guardians of the Galaxy. Why am I in this? And then they're like, well, you kind of created Groot. He's like, all right, fine,
Yeah, whatever.
I'll take your paycheck.
I think it's one of those things that it may be a fun little thing, like he might be on a screen somewhere,
So
getting broadcast from Earth or something. I don't know. But other than that, we also got some interesting things, like another cameo in the film, which I was super hoping was going to be in the movie. Lloyd Kaufman is in the movie, which is awesome. Do you know who that is?
no.
Lloyd Kaufman is the head of Trauma.
Oh, okay. I did see something about this. Someone was saying like, "Oh, thank you, James Gunn, for putting trauma in the movie" or something along those lines.
Yep, James Gunn got a start in Trauma, making the movie Tromeo and Juliet, and
Ah,
since then, he also wrote a few of the Trauma films, I believe, because he is a graduate of the Trauma School of Filmmaking. He Lloyd has also been in his other films. He actually had a speaking role in Slither.
hmm.
So he pops up in cameo. So it seems like he's pulling in all of his regulars into Guardians. I think four of his regulars are in this movie, which is Kaufman, Nathan Fillion, his brother, and name is escaping me, and I can't believe his name is escaping me.
Chris
God,
Pratt,
not Chris Pratt. Jesus Christ.
Batista.
Yes, it's Batista. Of course it's Batista. He's been in all of James Gunn's movies.
Batista was all over Romeo and
You know what?
Juliet.
He was actually the slugs in Slither. He voiced all of them.
Yes, he put on a bit of an accent for him. I thought that was a nice touch to his character.
I just remembered it's Michael Rooker
Ah,
is the fourth. All of them are in this movie, so it's really cool to know that all of them. I was wondering about if they were going to put Kaufman in this movie just because Trauma and Disney probably don't go together very well.
yeah. Yeah, it would be a very because I'm trying to think. Like, I know a little bit of Toxic Avenger. That's trauma, right?
That's Trauma.
Yeah, and I was just like, everything I saw that was awful. So it's like, God, I hope that's not too bad. Of like, it's not awful. Like, I mean, it's shit filmmaking. I mean, it's awful, and I don't like it at all.
It's
It's just not my
offensive.
style. Yeah, it's just not my style.
Well, that's the Trauma way, is to be as
Yeah.
offensive as possible and be cheap.
Yes.
Those are the
So
most effective things. But yeah, it was
yeah,
really
Cameron,
cool.
I'm perfectly fine. Obviously, let the guy, appreciate where he's come from and give credit to those guys.
He gave him his first shot, so there you go.
Yeah, and an article recently came out. This is from hitfix.com. They had an interview with James Gunn, and it's a pretty candid interview. Now, if you've listened to kind of any of the podcasts he's done regarding,
So awesomely candid.
yeah, regarding like the Guardian stuff, you're gonna kind of know a lot of his stuff already because he talks a bit about what it was like when they initially contacted him for Guardians and how at first he was just like, I'm gonna do Hit Monkey, and if they don't give me that, then fuck it. And he really wasn't interested. He talks about how it was the art that really got him inspired in it, and he went home and did like a 7-page presentation on just the art of what he thought Guardians of the Galaxy would look like, and that's going to be interesting. I'm really curious to see what the visuals in Guardians are going to look like because that's what apparently initially hooked him into this movie more than anything else. He was like, I know what this movie is going to look like. And it's going to be awesome.
It's gonna be metal as shit.
Yeah, and I mean, he has a lot in this article. I'm not going to go through everything here. It's a pretty long one, but if you get the chance, just definitely go check it out. He's got some very cool things to say about Batista, of all people. He's like, Batista is fucking incredible in this movie. Like, I
And
can't. He's like, I can't believe we found someone like this.
and you know what? I actually am starting to agree with him. In that newest trailer, we see some of Batista doing stuff. I'm like, that's not bad.
There's I can't remember if it was the other trailer or if it was a TV spot I saw, but he actually looks like he's going to be one of the funniest characters in the movie too, because they're going with Dumb Drax in this,
Okay.
which works, and I forget one of the characters, like Rocket is like, don't bother, it'll just go over his head, and he's like, Nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too quick. I would catch it. Like, it's just like, I see what you're going for, and this seems like he could be a fucking funny ass character.
It looks like they did cast the perfect person to do this.
Yeah, like if that's the tone they're going for, this is gonna be great because I think Batista could pull that off very well.
Yeah. After we're done with these tweets, we'll go into the new trailer because we just skimmed over it a little bit. But next up on the list was he did specifically state that we are not going to see Thanos before the movie hits, which I'm kind of thankful on. I can't believe somebody actually asked that
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, we're not gonna see him in any of the trailers.
Yeah, we're not going to see an image or anything of him. The first time you're going to see Thanos in its incarnation, that we're going to be seeing him for the rest,
Josh Brolin.
the Josh Brolin version of it, as opposed to the guy just sitting there smiling, is going to be in Guardians, which I'm completely cool with.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Let's see here. What's up next? That one's a dumb one. I don't know why they put that in. Where they mentioned, will it be in the continuity with other Marvel Studios production? And he's just like, absolutely.
He's just like, no, you dumb shit. They're just gonna make this random one-off adventure in space and never address it again.
Ever.
That's why they gave me $200 million.
Wee. And then the last one, which is a pretty funny answer, is somebody asked him, how many post-credit scenes are there? And his response was, hundreds. We have front-end titles. And I went, oh my god, they actually do an opening credits, which none of them have done.
Yeah, as I said, you don't see a whole lot of that. And that's something I always kind of appreciate, because there's some cool things you can do with that. Like, I always kind of
like
think
Godzilla was an awesome opening credits.
Or yeah, that was good. I always think back to the first Spider-Man movie. Always had really good opening credits.
Yes,
as well.
I was just thinking of the last time I remember seeing opening credits was fucking that, which is usually the most that we'll get is we will get the slates and then up to the title. So we'll have like director, lead actor, that kind of stuff, and then that's it. But having a full opening credits, that just sets tone, which is awesome.
Now, who's scoring this movie? Do we know? I assume we know by this point.
We do. I believe it's the people who scored all of his films. I actually don't know off the top of my head, but luckily I have Wikipedia already open.
Kaboom!
Guardians of the Galaxy film. Part of me is thinking it might be Giacomo. Let's see here.
Giacchino?
Oh, it's Tyler Bates.
Okay, I don't know who that is. Right.
Tyler Bates first did memory. The first time I remember seeing it was he did the Dawn of the Dead score, which was rad as hell. He also did the Devil's Rejects, Slither.
Okay, so he seems like a James Gunn kind of guy.
Halloween, Watchmen, Super, Sucker Punch, Conan the Barbarian, and now Guardians.
Okay, this guy's got some titles under his belt.
Yeah, he does. And 300.
Was there music in that? Wasn't it just like the sound of like 15,000 15-year-old boys jerking off in the background?
He actually did that. He scored all of that.
He conducted the entire orchestra of masturbating teenagers.
Exactly.
Good job. That's impressive.
Oh, he also scored, and I can't believe I didn't know this, he scored both Transformers video games, the Cybertron games, War and Fall of, Killzone Shadowfall, God of War Ascension. There you go.
All right. This guy's got a lot of work under his belt. I'm excited.
I remember liking a lot of his score that the man has done, so I'm pretty pumped for hearing what this man is going to be doing.
Because I love the main themes to these Marvel movies. Because that's like, you know how you say you like the credits because that's what the 3D text affects? I love the credits because that's also where the main theme of the movie gets to play, and you just get to sit there and kind of bask in it.
Yeah.
Like, I love that moment, when Captain America ends and it just goes into the do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Like, I love that moment. You get to sit there and just be like, what a fucking awesome movie.
You had like your
this cool-ass music.
Your head in your hand. You're like,
yeah. So, yeah, I'm very optimistic. I'm looking forward to this soundtrack. I'm really curious to see what the theme's going to be.
The thing that I have to say specifically about Tyler Bates doing a great job is he's also one of those really good guys who does a score who knows when it's appropriate. Because there's a lot of people who will score a movie who will overscore it. Like, there needs to be music everywhere. And he's the kind of guy who will A scene that jumps out in my head is because he did The Devil's Rejects, which is a fantastic movie. There was a shootout in the beginning of the movie, and when they're actually starting the shootout, they build it with music, and then the moment the shooting happens, drops sound only, so that you feel the actual shootout happening, which is because you could score that, and it's like, no, fuck it, keep it out.
Yeah, don't need it.
Don't need it. And
Let's sit there.
that also has one of the darkest scenes I've ever seen in a movie, which is when they kidnap those people and they torture them inside their hotel room. That had some really good scoring too. So yeah, Tyler Bates is just awesome.
Yeah, very good.
So yeah, other than that, we need to talk about the new Guardians trailer, which was 2.5 minutes long, the longest trailer that we've had so far.
Yeah, it's another long one here. I think this is one that was released primarily to go along with the fact that pre-orders for Fandango tickets are now available.
Yes.
So it's not on the official Marvel channels, I don't believe yet. I think you can find it right now on Movie Clips trailers. That's where I'm watching it on. And it's a really good trailer. I mean, the song is going to be carried over from the past few trailers, and that they're doing Cherry Bomb now.
Yep.
Kind of distancing themselves a little bit from Hooked on a Feeling. But it's a really good trailer. If you've seen enough to know you want to go see Guardians of the Galaxy, you don't have to watch it. You're not going to be missing anything. Go in, try to see as many things as you can, unspoiled or anything like that. But if you still need convincing, if you're still not 100% certain, this is definitely a good one to check out. Some good jokes in it. Really great ending bit at the end with a scene with Groot. And you get a little bit more, as we said earlier, you get a little bit more of just about every character. You get a little bit more of Gamora in here. You get a little bit more of Drax, some more Groot, some more Rocket Raccoon. You get these characters a little bit more, and you get some cool shots with these guys.
And there's a feeling that I have that we may have just seen the scene that may have the F-bomb in it.
Yes.
I am pretty goddamn sure that's going to be Rocket saying it.
Yeah. I mean, come on. He's the person who should be saying it.
He is, and you know what? If it is that scene, that is the perfect place to put it.
Oh, absolutely.
And you know what? Okay, how did you know it was going to be there? Just by the fact you said frickin'?
Yeah, I mean, that and other people were saying, like, that seems like a good spot for us. Like, yeah, it does seem like a pretty good spot for it. If that is the line he actually has during that scene.
My thought is that they cut away before he says it, so we don't see.
Okay.
Because you can see him start to say it, and then his mouth is not at all matching what he is saying. So I'm like, that might be exactly where it is, because they've been really good about matching that mouth movement, because that's their fucking job. So yeah, that probably is exactly where we're going to hear an F-bomb, and I kind of hope it is there, because that is the perfect place to say it, and it fits so perfectly.
And I'm really liking what we got at Peter Quill in this.
Yes.
Because I'm really getting some great vibes from him. I love the way his dialogue works in this. He's had that line you see in just about every trailer now. He's like, you know what I see when I look around? A bunch of losers. And then we get the follow-up to that line. He's like, like a bunch of people who have lost something.
Who've lost stuff.
Like, yeah, you're like, what a great Peter Quill line. He follows it up. He's like, you've lost family, you've lost your home. It makes sense. I just love it because Chris Pratt sells the fact that Peter Quill's like,
he's an ass.
Occasionally he's just like, I said something.
Oops.
I don't really know why I said that.
I don't have that brain mouth filter.
Yeah.
I'm with these guys. I do love
it. And you get that, and the scene, I think we've seen it before, where he's just like, why would you want to save the galaxy? Because I live there! Like, he just seems like this is going to be a guy who's going to be really funny. A lot of great moments with him. I'm really digging it.
Yes, and it was definitely the part where we both agreed that we are done watching trailers, because I don't need to see it. I haven't needed to see anything since the second trailer, to be perfectly honest. And we've been mainly watching it, so we have something to talk about here. But we are less than a month away. I'm done. I got to see a whole scene, which is usually something I like to see out of one of my last trailers, is a full scene, which is the conversation at the end of the movie. Because you could definitely tell that there's breathing room in there. So that is the whole scene. So I'm like, okay, I'm good. Bye.
Yeah, nothing really else to really see. I have no concerns anymore. I had concerns before, like, oh, I don't know what they're going to do with Gamora. She's not talking. She talks enough through these past few trailers that I feel comfortable with that. I don't know what they're going to do with Drax. Obviously, they've relieved those concerns. I think Rocket's going to be fun. Groot has a great moment where I'm just like, he's not just a walking I am Groot machine. You know, he's going to have like physical jokes that he's going to be able to pull off.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to make him a lot more endearing as a character. So there's a lot of really cool stuff here to dig.
Yes. And speaking of Groot, did you catch James Gunn retweeting something that Vin Diesel Instagrammed?
No, I missed that.
Oh man, they showed Vin Diesel recording his lines in Mandarin.
In Mandarin.
So
Is
he's
Mandarin the
saying,
same
"I
thing?
am Groot" in Mandarin.
So, so like, oh, okay. Does he do it for every language? Because I imagine that's not too hard. Like, soy Groot.
Yeah, it could be. So and they just showed him doing that. It's just kind of funny seeing him doing like three different "I am Groots," and I'm like, okay, that's actually really cool. And there you go. So that was a neat little
Man,
thing.
that's that. Like, the more I think on it, I was just like, God damn, Vin Diesel was the perfect fucking casting for Groot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could not have picked someone better.
Yeah, just the simple fact that like we've actually heard him say "I am Groot" like I think three times now, three different ways.
Mhm. And they all sound unique. Like, it's not like you're just like, oh, this is something that clearly they could have just got one person for. They got someone in Vin Diesel who's like, no, I'm gonna treat every fucking I am Groot like it's a goddamn like monologue.
It's my
Not
line. I have to treat it like it's my line.
no, it's all exists in its own unique place in the script. There's a tone behind each I am Groot. I
Mm-hmm.
love that.
And I just like thank God they actually got someone who's giving a shit about it. Just like the first time we heard Rocket speaking from Bradley Cooper, it was like this sounds a little off to the point where it's like I fucking love him as Rocket now.
Oh yeah, you get it now. Also, I guess this is a small spoiler for those of you who don't want to watch trailers, so you can just fast forward just a
Oh
quick bit.
yeah,
But we do now know that Rocket at least can understand Groot.
yes, which is kind of neat. I thought,
Yeah.
and that was the line where I'm like sold.
Yep.
We also heard Rodan talk too
Yes.
for the first
Yes, we
time,
did.
and towards the end of the trailer, I don't know if you caught it, is when we actually see Michael Rooker as
Yes, you
Yondu.
see him finally.
Yeah, I was like, oh, there he is. And the guy to his left is James Gunn's brother,
Yes.
who, for those of you who do not follow the whole thing James Gunn was talking about, his brother stood in for Rocket when they were filming all the group stuff.
Uh-huh.
Which I'm kind of hoping there might be a I forget his brother's name, the other Gunn's version, like see him as Rocket throughout the movie. That'd be kind of neat.
Yeah, that'd be kind of
That would be kind of neat. But that's it for Guardian stuff. The drama of Ant-Man continues.
What's new on the Ant-Man front?
Well, apparently they hired more writers.
Now, is this all based off the Latino Review article?
No,
Okay.
I heard that they have hired two writers that are going to be their on-set writers. Now, for anyone who doesn't know this kind of shit, this is the on-set writers are the people who are there on set in case they need to change something, so that so that whoever's directing it or a producer doesn't have to come up with lines of dialogue. So they actually have writers on set who can write.
Mhm.
That's their job. And usually what ends up happening is the actual writer of the movie does it, or the person who wrote and directed the movie does it. So if it was still Edgar Wright, he'd be fulfilling that role. But I'm imagining Adam McKay is probably super fucking busy doing whatever the fuck he's doing, so he can't fulfill that role. So they hire new people to do that role.
Yeah, it sounds like Adam McKay is basically just going to be like an oversight to it, just like, hey, this looks good. I'll put my name on it. I'll check it out, and I'll punch it up a little bit here and there as I notice stuff. But he's not going to be like thoroughly going through this with the comb or anything like that.
Correct. He was there to kind of do the things that Marvel wanted to have done with the movie, is what it sounds like. So he just did his job, and he's probably done with it. And he might get pages here and there from while they're shooting, but that's really it. He's not going to be there for the whole shoot, making sure things go correctly. That's what an on-set writer does. So they hired people to be their on-set writers. Nothing major. It's just a lot of people are blowing this out of proportion. That, oh my God, there's now there's going to be too many cooks making this, and it's like, no, you need this role. Do you want the producers writing this?
Yeah. No, this isn't as big of a news as I think people are trying to make it out to be. Really, I think at this point, the Ant-Man drama is essentially over. It just comes to doubt now whether they can make the movie on time.
The fact of the unfortunate fact of the matter is now with Ant-Man is they have to prove it to us.
Yes, which actually brings me to a little bit of a piece of news. Uh, we did find out earlier this week, Mark Ruffalo confirmed that he and the rest of the cast of Avengers are going to be at Comic Con. So they're going to be addressing that movie while they're there. And Michael Douglas has confirmed that he's also going to be at Comic Con.
Ooh.
And it sounds like there very well may be an Ant-Man panel, which could go a very long way to alleviating concerns
Or
if they play it right.
train wreck.
Yeah, it could be a train wreck, or it could be like, good, we're on the right track,
I
depending
think
on how things go.
I think the unfortunate problem is that it's still too early in their shoot.
Oh yeah, I mean, until we get a trailer, like an official trailer.
They need to show things. They can't talk about it at this point. We need to see things.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was some Doc Strange stuff that popped up too, but it's not really springing to mind. I think they confirmed a writer or something.
Yeah, nothing.
Oh, they did confirm a writer. That's right. They confirmed who's writing the movie. I like it like, oh, I think they confirmed the writer. That's right, they confirmed the writer. I'm an idiot. Because we didn't talk about that last week, did we?
No, well, we weren't here last week.
Well, last episode.
It's different.
Shut up. But we didn't talk about that last time, right?
No, I don't believe so.
Where is this? Sorry, it's one of those things where sometimes this news just gets buried. Yeah, it's John Spathis. It's like Spain, but replace the N with HTS. Well, he apparently wrote one of the he was one of the like 19 billion people who wrote Prometheus.
Joy.
Well, I think we can all agree that you know what, it's one of those things where things just kind of got out of control with that one.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen Prometheus, and I like Damon Lindelof for the most part. I know a lot of people attribute the problems that movie to him. It's just obviously that was a movie with a lot of writers in it, so having a credit to that isn't necessarily the greatest thing. But we'll see. Definitely see.
Yeah, it's one of those things where he is a guy who was just like, oh my god, he was just pumped as shit, which is something that is really cool to see popping up out of Doc Strange, because we've so far had the director talking about it and now the writer talking about it, and they're both just like joy gasping over working on Doctor Strange, and it's like, you know what, that's exactly what I want to be seeing.
Oh yeah,
something like this.
Because obviously, like, the fact that James Gunn has been this devoted to Guardians of the Galaxy and this into it is part of the reason you can see so much passionate fun behind the film.
Mm-hmm.
And if that kind of energy is behind Doctor Strange as well,
oh my god,
I'm all for it. I mean, that's I think part of the reason why we're not as excited for Ant-Man is because Edgar Wright, who was so behind that project, is left, and we're seeing people come in, but we don't hear, from Peter Peyton Reed being like, "Oh, I fucking loved Ant-Man as a kid. I can't wait to tell this story," or anything like that. So that's why the interest is a bit lower. And hearing that Doctor Strange has that momentum behind it, that Scott Derrickson was like, I fucking wanted this movie.
Yeah.
That makes you so much more excited.
And I think it mainly has to do with the fact that I think Ant-Man, Marvel's like, you guys need to shut the fuck up. We need to actually have this thing happen, and people need to stop, like, what?
Like, are you able to even fucking make the movie?
Yeah, that is currently their problem. Are you going to film this movie?
You've got 8 months. Hurry up.
Yeah, Ant-Man is a goddamn disaster. Marvel is like, we need to start filming this thing so we can shut people up about it. I'm going to tell you this right now. We are going to be seeing the most shit out of Ant-Man because Marvel has to, this is the first time in a very long time that Marvel has to prove to us something.
Oh, yeah.
Since, I'm going to say probably Thor is the first time they've had to prove to us. Because they didn't have to prove anything with Iron Man. Iron Man spoke for itself because it just came out of nowhere and happened. Mm-hmm. And then the Incredible Hulk, feelings of movie aside, it did not do as well, and a lot of people saw it as, the sophomore slump for Marvel Studios. And then Iron Man 2 came out. Not a lot of people thought it was the most amazing thing on earth, but it destroyed everything. And then when Thor happened and people were like, oh, they did Thor well? Okay, we're done.
Yeah, nothing to be concerned about for a little bit.
And then when they said, we're actually making the Avengers, everyone's like, oh, okay.
I'm digging.
Yeah, this is actually happening.
Yeah, like you're not just fucking with us.
Yeah, so that's how that whole
This
thing.
wasn't just gonna be a cracked article 6 years from now. How the Avengers movie almost could have been.
Oh God, cracked.
But it would.
You won't believe what you're going to see about the Avengers movie.
I fucking hate cracked.
Yeah, me too. So that's it for the news. It has been a light past 2 weeks, but as we said, this is the calm before the storm.
And just as a quick reminder, guys, if you use Fandango or if your theater accepts Fandango tickets, you can pick up your tickets for Guardians of the Galaxy now. Then,
Mm-hmm.
I was actually as soon as we finish here, I'm probably gonna pick up mine. So, just a heads up, you're one of those people who want to make sure you get your tickets confirmed, everything taken care of. You can do that now.
I have to converse with the people I see my movies with
Uh,
because we usually see them Thursday. Like, because I don't know, are you gonna try to see it?
oh yeah, I'm doing Thursday.
You're doing Thursday. Nice. Welcome to Thursday Club, bro.
Yeah, bro.
How often do you do that?
Uh, Captain America was the only other one I did it for.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much the last one I didn't do it for was Transformers.
It's just a lot easier to see movies for me on the weekend,
Mm-hmm.
just because I have more free range to do it.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't have to like worry about getting home at a decent time.
My problem is that the people I see movies with, that's one of the only times they're free. So we all make time to see movies on Thursday nights. So that's when we end up doing it. Plus, our theater does like 10 o'clock showings a lot of the time. So we'll do that so that, because I always say the best thing about seeing a movie on opening night like that. Same thing kind of goes for Friday nights, but Thursdays are the best for this. You get the crowd.
Oh yeah, that's the people who want to see the movie. Everyone's into it. You're gonna get the best audience
Yeah,
reaction.
you are seeing the movie with people who want to see the movie, not people like, oh, I got nothing to do tonight. Might as well go see a fucking movie.
Yeah, I mean, like when I was in the line to go see Captain America, or when I was like walking into the theater opening night, I mean, almost everybody in the crowd had like a Captain America or some kind of Marvel related T-shirt on. Before the movie started, you get other people talking like, "Oh, I can't wait! Do you think they're gonna do Red Skull in this?" Or everybody's talking about the Marvel movie. Everyone's excited. They're gonna laugh at the jokes. There's not gonna be people who are just gonna be like, "Why is that computer talking?" Because everyone's just like, "I kind of get this universe. I'm into this. I don't need to question this. I'm just so excited." So. Yeah, it's a good audience, and especially I think that's going to be helpful for Guardians. You won't get people who are going to be like, "Honey, why is the raccoon talking?" You're just going to get people who are like, I already know what this is. I'm excited for this, and I'm going to react to this the way the movie wants me to react."
Why can the tree only say his name?
Yeah, why is he? Is he special?
He's a special tree.
Is he a special
He's
tree?
a birch tree. But yeah, that's why I'm super pumped to see Guardians during that time. It's gonna be just fucking fantastic. Like my favorite was seeing Avengers during that, because I've seen every single one of these movies during that time frame except for The Incredible Hulk.
Okay.
And my favorite moments was the Avengers, seeing it, and we had 3 whole groups of people dressed up as the Avengers.
Jesus.
3. And 2 kids who came dressed as Batman. They got booed.
Oh, they're kids?
They were like 10, 12.
Oh, come on. Let them.
They
Let
came in.
Batman
They
be
came
an
in as
Avenger.
Batman, and everyone was like, "Boo!"
That's monstrous. That wasn't very heroic of your audience.
I laughed really hard. It looked like they were trying to be, those punk idiots who were like, "I'm gonna be Batman."
Oh, they were like they came in, like they would start flipping off the eye. It's like, fuck yeah, man, Batman is
Batman, yeah. They were like, like that, so everyone was like, "Boo!" It was great, but so we have a little bit to talk about with what we're going to be doing in the future, because the news ended up carrying us for most of
We're
this.
retiring. This last episode of the MCU podcast, everybody.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys, we're done. No,
We lasted almost directly after Captain America's like news dwindled, right up until fucking Guardians of the Galaxy.
we're gonna show up around Guardians too, give or take.
Well, MCU podcast will start up again in like October. We'll carry it right until the start of May, and we'll stop again.
Then we'll drop the mic.
Yeah, and then we'll pick back up when Guardians 2 gets announced.
Yeah, exactly. But no, we are in the calm before the storm. Something we discussed before this was the reason why we haven't had a ton of features, and we haven't really needed to because we've had some news. But this is all going to change. Pretty much, it's 2 weeks from Comic-Con.
I think 3, because I think it's the last week of July is Comic-Con. So we're in the 8th, I think.
Yes, it's three. It's
3 weeks.
So we got 3 weeks till Comic Con. The week after Comic Con is fucking Guardians.
Yeah, I think Comic-Con runs until like the 28th, and then Guardians comes out the 31st. Well, the first, but everyone will see it on the 31st.
Yes, exactly. So that's just they're just gonna roll into each other, and then after Guardians, we're gonna have a little bit of Guardians talk, and then it's going to be Shield.
Mm-hmm.
Because Shield is starting in the fall lineup on Tuesdays, so Shield is probably gonna be mid September ish, end of September. I don't
So basically about a month break between Guardians and Shield.
just enough time for us to gear up into Shield before Shield.
Because I still have to rewatch the season. I missed like 6 episodes in the middle there.
Yeah,
So
you missed some of the build up.
Yeah, I'll have to rewatch that. I'll probably just pick up the DVD season, just watch that because I think that's supposed to come out before
September
the
9th.
season. Damn, not the fucking
It comes out the same day as the Cap on Blu-ray.
motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm. I know, I agree. Then
how am I gonna watch that season?
I know. So then after Shield is going to be we're going to be doing our regular week on Shield thing, but probably around the time Shield happens, guess what, everybody? Avengers shit's going to start going down. So
I mean, we're gonna be getting presumably maybe not a trailer, but some kind of teaser at Comic-Con.
yeah, we're gonna get something into Guardians.
Yeah,
It's gonna happen.
We'll get something in Guardians. We'll probably get something at Comic-Con, and then
Come September.
I'd imagine probably by November, maybe into December, we'll probably get our first trailer.
Okay.
Official trailer.
No. Do you know what's gonna happen? Do you know what the first trailer is gonna be?
What's that?
The final commercial break during the premiere of fucking Agents of Shield.
That'd be pretty beast.
That's how you do it. That's called marketing, folks.
That would be pretty fucking pimp.
Isn't that what they're probably gonna do?
That if they aren't doing it, they should.
There is going to be something Avengers Age of Ultron related in that first episode because that's how you market things. That's how you get people to watch the premiere is by doing that. Agents of Shield comes back. Do you want to see your first glimpse into Age of Ultron? Here you go.
I'm like, I do.
I do. I was already watching it, but now I'm going to watch it even harder.
Now that you say it, I do.
So that's probably going to be happening. Then we're going to be doing the week-on-week stuff with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Then we have the build-up to Avengers. Then it's just going to start all over again. Probably the first lull we're going to have is post-Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not even that long because...
That's not going to be long because Ant-Man comes out like the month after that, 2 months. It's going to be after Ant-Man when we're waiting until Cap 3.
Yeah, that's going to be the biggest lull, but I think there is going to be a lull after Avengers because what's going to happen is Marvel is going to let Avengers be Avengers. Because they need to, because the only way to make people keep seeing the movie... Could people stop blowing shit up? God damn it. Can you hear that at all?
July was a while ago.
Can you hear that?
No, not really.
I've been hearing like... Pop, 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 pop. God fucking damn it. 5th of July. Or is it the 4th? No, it was the 5th of July because it rained here on the 4th. 2 straight hours of fireworks. It was fucking... I wanted to kill people. It was awful. So...
My family burned down a tree saying not fireworks.
Oh, that sounds fun. So moving on. So that's because they're gonna let Avengers play out because they don't want to interfere with its box office by saying Ant-Man's coming. They're gonna kind of wait for Avengers to kind of ebb a bit before they start digging hard into Ant-Man stuff. So there is gonna be some time. Then the post Ant-Man is gonna happen again. But I'm gonna tell you this: right after Ant-Man, they're gonna start tossing here Avengers Blu-ray stuff. Here comes Captain 3.
I can't wait for Cap 3.
I know I can't either.
So I mean, I'm sitting here like already with an erection hard for Guardians, with then Avengers 2 after that, but I'm still saying like, God, I can't wait for Cap 3.
Right as you were saying that, more explosions. So I was imagining that was the finale of what you were talking about. I was like, oh, I'm so excited.
That's me ejaculating. Just sounds like
wow, that was fucking loud. I heard it outside my window.
Well, maybe I'm outside your window.
Oh man. Still, that's
jerking off onto the side of your house.
That is pretty loud. That's like a fucking shotgun. So we are gonna probably have some features here and there talking about certain things, wrap up on certain of these films, specifically the 10 weeks leading up to the release of Avengers Age of Ultron. We're gonna be going over all the films, which we've talked about I think 3 times now.
Mhm.
podcast that we are eventually going to be rewatching all of the films, and we've talked about doing it before then. Yeah,
In order, correct?
in order, release order,
You really sort, yeah.
not chronological, because it gets kind of confusing.
Yeah.
Because
Cap
it goes
America.
the World War II stuff of Cap, then it goes the Incredible Hulk. No, it goes Iron Man, then the Incredible Hulk. Actually, wait,
Then,
hold on.
then it goes.
No, it
Then
goes
it
Iron
goes
Man, Iron Man 2, the Incredible Hulk, then Thor.
Thor. Then you get into the post World War II stuff of Captain America,
Then it's
Avengers.
Avengers. Then
And
then then
it's
it's all chronological after that. They've been releasing. Oh,
well, then
we
it's
don't we
like
don't know where Guardians,
yeah. I was like, well, then you get Iron Man 3.
which is like a month or so after.
Then you get like 6 episodes of Shield.
Yeah,
Then you
I'm
get
ignoring
Thor: The
Shield
Dark
in this
World.
whole conversation because it's weird. But yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much post Avengers they've been in chronological order, but we don't know where things fall in. So yeah, release order makes more sense because we do see a progression of Marvel Studios as a studio when you watch them in order. You see them getting more brave as they progress. So we don't do we have a topic for next week? Because guess what? We do.
Oh, actually, I wanted to ask you something
Sure.
real quick. Are you going to be reading? Did you pick up the new Rocket Raccoon book?
Why'd you have to preempt me with that? Because our topic next week is the first Rocket Raccoon comic.
I stole it from you.
You son of a bitch. Yeah, we're actually going to be reading and talking about the first issue of the solo Rocket Raccoon book next week.
Are we going to talk about the first Peter Quill book as well?
Did he actually get a solo book release too?
Yeah, it's I think it's under the same 'cause it's well, his Rocket Raccoon's just Rocket Raccoon, and I think Peter Quill's is
Peter Quill,
like
Agents of Guardian.
well, no, it's like Guardians of the Galaxy, the Rise of Star Lord. It's something Star Lord is in
It
there.
sounds like a direct tie-in, whereas Rocket isn't.
No, Peter. This one's because there's 3 books. There's a Rocket Raccoon #1. There's a Peter Quill #1 essentially, and then there's one that actually is a Guardians of the Galaxy movie tie-in book that explains Groot beforehand.
I'm ignoring that one.
Yeah, we won't see that one, but I wouldn't mind checking out the other Peter Quill one.
That one maybe we'll wait for another week on. But did you see any of that Rocket art?
I did see it, and the art is pretty fucking cool. It's very zany, a very exaggerated, cartoonish.
Earthworm Jim esque.
Yes, that's the perfect way to describe
It
it.
is very Earthworm Jim or Sam and Max.
Yeah,
It's very like indie 90s comic book feeling and it's just awesome. Also very Jonah Vasquez esque, and I love Jonah Vasquez. That man is fucking twisted. I'm guessing by your sounds you know who I'm talking about.
I love Jonah Vasquez.
He's the guy who did Invader Zim.
I love Invaders him.
I hate you so goddamn much. Jonah Vasquez is fucking twisted. He also made one of my favorite comic books ever, which is Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, which is just dark as hell, and I love that man. I have no idea the amount of darkness in that man's head, but he gets away with it. It's ridiculous. But no, Rocket is drawn beautifully, and I can't wait to read it. I read like the first 2 pages of it, and I'm like, I can't right now. I have to read this. So
Now, I recently also heard that the recent issues of Moon Knight have been absurdly good.
we'll get into that stuff eventually. The
You're
problem.
like, once they announce a fucking Moon Knight movie, maybe we'll take a look at Moon Knight.
Maybe we'll take a look at that, Marvel, huh? What do you got to say about that?
They're like, Phase 3, Moon Knight, suck it.
Mike, drop. But no, the problem that I
And
say,
I'm just like, can you pick that up and give us a Miss Marvel movie first?
bye. They're already walking off the stage. No, no, no.
On a rocket ship. It's like, I didn't really need a Moon Knight movie.
But the problem that I talk about this with other people all the time when it comes to reading comics is that with all the shit I do, reading comics is a very precious time for me.
Oh, yeah.
So I really have to, something has to really grab me, and it's like, oh, Moon Knight's being written really well, and I'm like, that's really neat. That's cool. Yeah, that's something you were just talking about. Because when it boils down to it, Moon Knight is so far removed that it's like, okay, I really need to dig into
It would
Daredevil.
be like a book on fucking like I'm trying to think of the DC equivalent of fucking Moon Knight would be like Animal Man or something. Or just like he's there, he exists. I acknowledge it. I don't give a
That's really
fuck.
cool that it's being written well. We really have other things that we need to read first. Like, we need to find some decent Doc Strange,
I
Daredevil,
still need to finish the Punisher book.
the Punisher. Yeah, yeah, you got to do the Punisher stuff. I'm sorry. We still have to do.
It's getting better. I got a Kindle now.
Ooh,
My dad gifted me one, so I'm gonna try to get the issues on that because right now I read everything on my phone,
yeah.
which isn't the most convenient. So I think having the Kindle, I can sit down on a bed and just flip through. Might go a bit easier.
That's how I read things on my tablet.
Hmm.
Hmm. But yeah, that's the thing is that right now we're trying to find some decent books for the things that currently have properties that are being made into things that we're actually watching. So we have all of the Netflix shit to watch, probably something Shield related that we should watch when Shield comes back. Stuff that involves Agent Carter is something that I need to find somewhere.
If it
If it
exists.
exists. We're probably I have a feeling we're gonna love the ever loving shit out of Rocket, the book. Cause I mean that art alone can carry me through like 6 issues. Cause I fucking love that artwork. It
Now it's worth noting that this just came out. Like we're recording this podcast on the 8th
I think it
of,
hit like the sixth.
July. Yeah, so it came out, must have come out last Wednesday. So like what, the third or something like
And
that.
I found out about it through emails, honestly.
Yeah, so if you guys are getting this, it'll be a week old, I guess, at this point. But go out to your comic book store, go pick up a copy, or go, whatever app you want to use,
The
Comixology. I
Marvel
think Marvel.
one.
Yeah, so hey, go check it out there.
Check it out there. Support this shit. We want them to know that we like good books. And I'm saying that before we actually read it.
Yeah, like you read it and you're just like, God, Rocket Raccoon has screamed out the N word at least 6 times. I don't know if I appreciate this.
Awkward. But yeah, but I was saying if we really like Rocket, this will probably be something we're gonna check in on monthly. Because yeah. I have a feeling I'm gonna like this book.
Hopefully.
Just from the artwork. But so we have a bunch of stuff that we still have to read. So we're probably gonna be on and off from now on with the comic books because I just have to research. Because I have to sit down and I'm like, oh well, I gotta go read 30 fucking Doctor Strange books now. Let's find something good. So yeah, this is good.
And it's possible, Doctor Strange, you may not even find a Doctor Strange run because he doesn't have very many solo runs. And maybe instead you have to find a really good series that he was in, an event comic or something.
Well, he has had I think 2 solo events
Yeah.
or events about him. So those are the first things I'm digging into is like because everyone always says when you're getting into comic books, the easiest way to get into a series is to read it during an event. Because if as well an event about that character. So like for instance, digging into Guardians during one that was about them was a decent way to dig into Guardians because they did build up to the War of the Kings. If that was actually what it was called, I forget now. But
Something like that.
yeah, something like it was about kings, whatever. So yeah, that was a decent way to get into that. Then we got into the solo event stuff, which the Thanos Imperative by itself wouldn't have been a bad read on its own. A little bit iffy on certain aspects of it, but it wouldn't have been a bad way to be introduced to Guardians. So yeah, as long as it's a well written one, of course. We also got to read Original Sin at some point too.
I'm 3 issues in on that. I need to catch up.
I need to read 1 issue of it because I haven't had any time to read it.
Oh, okay. I thought you only had 1 issue left. I was like, it's not even done yet, is it?
No, I haven't read a single one yet because I've had no time to read. I've been super busy. I'm ending a project and starting one around the same time. So
Yeah, I trust me, dude. I know the feeling. I have like 7 volumes of a manga to catch up on.
oh, have fun with that.
Tomorrow.
Hopefully, is it at least decent?
No.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah.
So maybe you should read some Rocket in the middle there to be like, oh, thank God. Oh, no. Oh, no. Save that for the day after.
No, the day after is just going to be furious masturbation and crying.
Maybe at the same time.
Maybe I can do that while reading Rocket.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Or maybe the crying will subside about halfway through the book. Who knows? So yeah, that's been this week. As always, ending it with a masturbation thing. Happens every time. I guess we beat you all to the punch there.
Oh, I got it.
I got it too.
You made a pun.
I did actually.
You proud of
So,
yourself?
yeah, we have a few things to look forward to. We actually, at least we have a few weeks of breather room before shit gets super real on us.
Yes.
Yeah, we kind of do need these little weeks of like, oh, thank
This is
God.
a very precious month
It is.
before things grow huge.
Because pretty much the only time that we're gonna have off between now and let's say post Ant-Man is probably gonna be when Shield is running,
Hmm.
and there's still probably gonna be a fair amount of
There's still gonna be news to talk about, but like it won't be as
because we're gonna start hearing about other Phase 3 stuff.
yeah, like once because that is gonna be like a crazy storm those 3 weeks at the end of July and the first two of August, where it's just like all this Comic-Con news and fucking Guardians.
Yes, so things are gonna get a little crazy. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this little, I'd say this little conversational episode this week. It was very conversational like.
Yes, I agree. We were conversationalists.
We read answers from Twitter for half of it.
We read a Twitter.
That's kind of hilarious that we think about it. Is that half of our fucking news was from Twitter.
It's the water cooler of the new future.
The new future. I think that might have to be the name of this episode, The New Future.
The new future.
As opposed to that old busted future. That future
Yeah.
sucked.
I feel like it's also probably an Imagine Dragons song.
Oh,
The new future, the new future.
no, I'm cutting you off right the hell there. That's like 3 things I hate in one. Ugh. Okay, so next week we'll be talking about Rocket and probably other things related to Rocket as well, because we do have some Guardians merch to look at, including some incredibly awful Rocket Raccoon merch.
It's pretty terrifying.
I have not seen a decent action figure yet. They all look awful.
Now, Disney's releasing some stuff officially. If you go to the Disney store, I think you can start finding it now.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to exactly look it up. But yeah, hold on. You go to Disney Store, Marvel characters, Guardians of the Galaxy. They've got some cool stuff there. They've got like a cool 15-inch rocket plush, if that's your kind of thing, for like $25. Some decent looking t-shirts. But the one thing they have I really want is they've got the Milano Lego spaceship.
Well, that
looks...
probably will be available in a lot of places.
It looks so cool, though.
I don't know if I have room for that.
I would hang it from my ceiling. I don't have the money for it. It's like $75. Legos aren't fucking cheap, apparently.
That's actually not bad for something that looks that detailed, actually, from
Yeah.
Lego. But what I would have to do, move like my Grimlock, probably? I don't have a lot of room on top of my entertainment center.
Oh, and they got the mask, too, if you want the mask, the Peter Quill mask.
Oh, yeah, the tiny one?
Yeah, well, this one's probably... I think a lot of these things are intended for children, so...
Damn it! Fuck you, kids!
Well, that's the thing. I think all of the t-shirts are for kids. And I got super excited because they had this cool hat that has, like, the Peter Quill mask on the front. And I was like, oh, that's going to be so sweet. And I saw it said baseball cap for boys. And there was a small part of me, it's like, I can squeeze into that. And I was like, no, even if I had a normal-sized fucking head, I couldn't squeeze into that. But I have this giant fucking melon head, so I'd probably have to buy 2 of them and tape them together.
With hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah, that...
Tears.
But once again, that's going to do it for us this week. I think that's the 5th time I've said that. Probably. So we'll see you guys next week. We'll have a bit more Guardians news and some Rocket stuff. So see you guys then.
Bye! 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 Bye!